There are some books on the front, so if you want to follow Ameen that he's going to read, you can take the books. You fall. You fall, sharp it up. You fall, sharp it up, buckle up. You fall, sharp it up, buckle up, too high. You fall, sharp it up, buckle up, too high, slow down. You fall, sharp it up, buckle up, too high, slow down, too opinionated. You fall, sharp it up, buckle up, too high, slow down, too opinionated, nasty mouth. You fall, sharp it up, buckle up, too high, slow down, too opinionated, nasty mouth, sick.
The waitress announced the last round, so we ordered, but they didn't give us enough time to finish our drinks. They offered us a dessert that we wanted to eat, but they wouldn't give us the time to do so, to eat it. As they rudely cleaned the tables, we rushed to empty our gin and tonics. I finished mine in one gulp, noisily banging the glass on the crystal table, and then I finished someone else's before they closed the door on our heels. 20 minutes later, we were at home eating avocado on crackers. I don't remember how we made it home, but I do remember that we opened all the cheeses and sliced them with one of those funny cheese knives that makes the slices really thin. We had opened two kinds of crackers, one with sesame seeds and another that was a darker brown, and we were eating them with 2 avocados, cherry tomatoes, sliced cheese, and olive oil. We were devouring them, our tipsy gazes slowly disappearing as our stomachs filled. I think she was complaining that nobody is critical in general, and specifically that nobody is critical about collaboration. She had just finished a 1-week workshop about making and collaborating, and she was upset that nobody had brought up any problems during the workshop. She was disappointed that nobody had been metacritical about what a collaborative workshop about collaboration could mean. I think those sorts of questions just get in the way. They either take up all the time or they're boring. But it's true that meta-comments are a good way to start bloody conversations about what is right or wrong in endless tautology. The packages of crackers were almost empty, and the criticality devolved into opinion. Everybody is stupid. Page 14. The house became a battlefield for individual words. She stood up from the wooden table and moved behind her chair. She rested her body on the chair and from that position started to yell, claiming that I was ignorant of her career, ignorant of the field, and ignorant about her statements. She claimed a few other little things of some sort of engagement. It was an awful collaboration. Not a questioning meta-cooperation, but a bad combination of disconnected onomatopoeias. Nobody would have been able to arrange the sounds to make a good sentence. Everyone was stupid, and with no way back, I was finishing the night in the category of everyone. In the middle of her yelling, I pointed out that I was just trying to be critical about the lack of criticality in the excess of opinion, but this resulted in more insults. The yelling increased, and she changed her position. Moving from behind the chair to the middle of the kitchen, I had to move my own chair to keep sight of the scene and have good vision. She told me that I was the one who was giving fast opinions, by saying too quickly that she was giving fast opinions. I was holding a mug of goodnight tea, which was not working properly, and my face was crooked. She continued to stand in the kitchen with aggression in her eyes, and I said the situation was getting too crazy. But this caused yet another problem. She asked who the hell I was to call her crazy. I never called her crazy, but now I was trapped in the pleasure of the conflict. There are some people who get addicted to the excitement of conflicts. I called the situation crazy one more time, and the door slammed behind me. There had been so many insults crawling under my tongue, and they stayed with me now that I was alone in the room. It was 6 a.m., and I couldn't understand what the hell had just happened or why my tea was not working properly now when I needed to sleep. The insults under my tongue were pronounced internally in English. I have to admit, it's a relief that when we argue, we always do it in English. Speaking other languages, and English not being our mother tongue, led us to make combinations depending on topic and temperament. In the morning, with coffee, we will communicate the day's program in Spanish. English for work, English for love, Spanish for family.
Not in my tongue. Lengua larga, a chuparla, mañana, mañana. Translate this, so alone, bad accent, unwitch, zero effort, rubbish. Pretty mouth, talk to me, write you off, bang, bang, to the brain.
Page 50. Home, 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 temporary home, sublet home, place with stuff that isn't mine. I don't know the contents of the boxes under the bed in which I sleep. I didn't buy the sheets I use every night. The cat I share the bed with doesn't know my name. Home, 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 I get home. Page 54. If the fight started with a failure around collaboration, it quickly developed into strategies to feel protected by productive processes like sex and work. I found relief by getting more shifts in the bar so as to keep myself occupied more hours. She feels unemployed, without any freelance work to do, and her remedy for this turns out to be, for the past 3 weeks at least, locking a kid in her room day and night in order to feel occupied instead of alone. Feeling alone and not having a job. Lonely, unemployed girl. To me, those are the worst words to be called. Each time I get nervous about anything, I wonder if I'm closer to neuroticism or hysterics. As soon as I begin to wonder, I calm down very quickly, as if I've been given a sedative directly to the heart, into my blood system. I calm down because I don't want to be called names, but because of my sudden calm, I'm called the same names again. I force my breathing to stay normal, thinking about my throat and my nose, holding my breath from time to time. I start to fill up the boxes of my calendar with things I want to do in rhymes and prose. Today I don't feel like doing lists. After spending 2 weeks in my pajamas, forgetting to eat, but drinking Coca-Cola and smoking more than ever, I hear you singing to me again in the corridor. Work, 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 in the style of Drake, as if it was funny or something. She has no idea how to make good jokes because she wonders too much about their effects. They become a defense mechanism. I wonder why she tries, singing that sarcastic rhythm, to be vile and to cause hurt, when I'm already standing in the corridor looking stupid, thinking that our relationship has become annoyingly hostile. Page 64. Finally, I hear the door of the bathroom opening, so I run there to pee, but she's still inside, in front of the mirror, arranging her hair with a twisted face and sweat on her forehead. She looks back at me with a stupid, proud look, a look betraying her approval of the state of her own mental health now that it has been cured by her new, constant escort. In the face of this, I represent some supposed sickness, the ultimate loser, waiting alone in front of the door for the room to be vacant so I can pee. She finally gets out of the bathroom. Walks out with an idiotic, aristocratic aura, but in cheap shorts and a cheap t-shirt bought at the supermarket. It reminds me of the idiots. They were proud of their idiocy. I sit down in the bathroom and look for scenes from the film on my mobile phone. Pride makes the fool an idiot, but selfishness more so. I'm not making it up. The term has its roots in ancient Greece, where idiots were those who only focused on themselves. An idiot was a private person, a private citizen, a selfish individual who took no part in public life. Under Athenian democracy, public life was the democratic government of the polis, and an idiot was anyone who lacked the skills to be part of it, or was not interested in doing so. The term, therefore, stood in opposition to the public, as self-centeredness is opposed to the common, the community, the public good, politics. Idiot didn't have a pejorative meaning to begin with. At first, it simply meant someone not participating in politics. However, it started to become an insult as the importance of political and democratic engagement increased. The word idiot mutated as it was introduced into Latin, changing its meaning to signify more general ignorance. Now, the idiot was someone defined by a lack, a person with insufficient skills for public life, a layman. Idiots and imbeciles. Imbeciles and idiots. Though these insults are not the same, they both suggest an excess of individuality.
Ruthless, no room for you, go hard, shaking. Shame, shame, me, all by yourself. Insane, fooling you, nice, butchy. Yeah, and much. Lame, nobody around.
Page 70. When I was in 6th grade, I had a teacher who was a real performer, a crazy one. She used to teach us Latin in extremely creative ways. We would arrive to class, and she would be waiting for us, lying on the floor, and she would stay in that position to give the lecture. Would stay until the class was finished. She also had some other peculiarities. When somebody gave her a wrong answer, she would open the window, dangle half of her body out, and start to yell, "Answer the question or I'll jump out the window." She used to press chalk to our foreheads, moving it in circles. She preferred to do that to girls with pretentious haircuts, until we answered something properly. She also used to give us good marks if we wore cool skater shoes. She was a funny-looking woman, too. She used to dress like a skater, with big trousers, big T-shirts, and Vans. She had a white stain in the front of her hair, and she was always wearing different colored glasses. She used to love declaring to us that she was a lesbian, a Christian, a nun. Her name was, I don't know if she's still alive, Trike. Page 76. She taught us Latin and applied semantics in Latin. I remember on our first day, she offered to analyze our names to find their roots and see how many of them came from Latin. She made a scary but excited face as she asked me, "Claudia, do you know what your name means?" I had no idea, so she answered herself. "It means lame." I was shocked. She had just ruined my name. I remember going back home that day and asking my mother if she had known about the meaning of my name before she gave it to me. After mine, Trike explained the meaning of my other classmates' Latin names: Lucia, luminous; Pilar, strong and tall; Julia, with soft hair; Felix, happy; Lucretia, lucky; Victor, winner; and Valentine, strong and plucky. After all these, Claudia did sound pretty lame to me, but Trike hadn't finished with names, and suddenly yelled at us, "And do you know what imbecile means?" Imbecile has its origins in Latin. Im works like in, to negate. Becile comes from baculum, which means a stick or staff. So imbecile, imbecilis, means a person without a supporting stick, a person without a walking stick. In ancient Roman times, old people were considered wise and intelligent, so a person carrying a walking stick represented that wisdom. At the same time, a person without a walking stick may well be someone without wisdom, still too young to be considered wise, and therefore someone who needs a walking stick because of his deficiencies. An actual imbecile would be a person unable to do anything by him or herself, or even worse, a horrible collaborator, someone who uses others as walking sticks. The incapacity to be autonomous and a bad use of others defines the authentic imbecile.
So I think now some papers are going to be handed for the second part. You can keep the books and read it entirely at home also. We just grabbed some parts. So meanwhile, you're getting the text. I'm going to tell you some things. So We are in the terrace as usual, no? And so what we do in the terraces is to start to grab a lot of tables that are in the terrace, and with them we kind of like try to put a little bit of pressure with the people who are sitting in the other terraces, like in the other tables in the same terrace. So it somehow like it works like you kind of like grab all the tables as much as you want, as much as you can, and then you kind of like collage them, and then you try to make like shapes like C's and D's and T's, no? And then you try to like make pressure so the other people will leave, and when they leave, you immediately when they leave, they stand up, and then you grab their table, and then you also like attach their tables to your table. And yeah, and waiters, they don't really like this because you kind of like make a mess with their arrangements with the tables. But at the same time, like if you look closely to the design of normally the tables, I'm talking about Barcelona right now, I don't know the tables here, they're normally like, they look really heavy, but they're actually extremely light. They look really heavy because they look like they're made of metal, but they're super light, so they're kind of like made out to like that you can like move them and do these kind of like arrangements. Like I order a beer and everybody like orders the same, like the cheapest one that you can find in that place, and then with the drinks normally you get some mix of dried nuts. They're normally like inflated corn and peanuts and dried chickpeas. And it's funny because in that situation, normally what happens is that everybody tries to like put their hands in those plates, but nobody really likes the dried chickpeas. So like at the end, they're like all left over, like all this dried chickpeas. So what it will be actually nice is that you can like grab like everything, and then you put it on your hand, on the palm of your hand, and then you choose what you want to eat from the palm of your hand. Anyway. We are like 11, and from there you follow the paper because I continue in Spanish. And suddenly, de repente, alguien abre una grieta en una lata. Yo abro una grieta en una lata que hay en la mesa. Gotea despacio, se vacía. Mancho la mesa y la ropa. Y me evaporo. Después de mis movimientos grito, ¡ámonos! Y todos gritamos, ¡ámonos! Y creo así como un triángulo con mis dedos, y todos creamos un triángulo con nuestros pulgares y nuestros índices, y nos lo llevamos delante de la frente, y gritamos otra vez. Pero ella nunca lo hace, o nunca quiere hacerlo. Y yo pienso, todos pensamos, si no quiere hacerlo es que es una extraña. A nosotros se nos vuelve una extraña y es ella quien se daña con rabia, furia, ira, como escupir. Y pienso, si quieres quemarte, quema sola, pienso eso. Y sola se quema, porque los que no queman, pero tampoco se apagan, son peores que los que queman, porque entonces son brotes. Y en cualquier momento pueden empezar a quemar. De repente, alguien escupe en el vaso de otro. Yo escupo en el vaso de mi amigo sentado a mi lado. Mi escupitajo está en el vaso. Me diluyo entre el líquido y ya no se me ve. Después de mis movimientos grito, ¡esa es! Y todos gritamos, ¡esa es! Y hago así como un triángulo con mis dedos, y todos creamos un triángulo con nuestros pulgares y nuestros índices, y nos lo llevamos delante de la frente y gritamos otra vez. Pero ella nunca lo hace, o nunca quiere hacerlo. Y yo pienso, todos pensamos, si no quiere hacerlo, es que es una extraña, a nosotros nos vuelve una extraña y es ella quien se daña con rabia, furia, ira, como escupir y pienso. Si quieres quemarte, quema sola, pienso eso, y sola, sola se quema, porque los que no queman, pero tampoco se apagan, son peores que los que queman, porque entonces son brote y en cualquier momento puede empezar a quemar. De repente, alguien echa el aliento en la cara de otro. Yo echo el aliento en la cara de mi amigo sentado a mi lado. Abre la boca y entra. Mi aliento está en la boca. Me inspiran y me expiran fuera hacia el aire. Después de mis movimientos grito Lelo. Y todos gritamos Lelo. Y creo así como un triángulo. Y todos creamos un triángulo con nuestros pulgares y nuestros índices y nos lo llevamos delante de la frente y gritamos otra vez. Pero ella nunca lo hace o nunca quiere hacerlo. Y yo pienso, todos pensamos, si no quiere hacerlo es que es una extraña. A nosotros se nos vuelve una extraña y es ella quien se daña con rabia, furia, ira, como escupir, pienso. Si quieres quemarte, quema sola, pienso eso, y sola, sola se quema. Porque los que no queman, pero tampoco se apagan, son peores que los que queman, porque entonces son brote. Y en cualquier momento pueden empezar a quemar.
Hay palabras que aparecen crípticas para unos, pero que funcionan como detonantes para otros, que generan terreno común. Y solo los que comparten ese terreno proporcionan una respuesta adecuada. Bromas que generan comunidad, aunque siempre habrá quienes no las entiendan. Así, algunas bromas internas quedan dentro, y algunas se integran desde fuera. Hay algunas bromas internas que nacen de movimientos internos y solo pueden entenderse desde dentro. Y aunque podemos estar seguros de su impermeabilidad, siempre abren una brecha hacia afuera. Y las bromas se expanden y se filtran y pasan de dentro afuera, del interior al exterior y al revés, propagándose entre tú y yo, ya que la única cosa que tenemos para apoyarnos es tú y yo, y tú otra vez, y la lingüística que en tu uso, en nuestro uso, se altera. So I left the cinema. I walked outside, and my strategy at this moment was something like waiting for people to start smoking cigarettes so that I could go up to them and ask for a cigarette, and then I would have somebody to talk to for a couple minutes. And I'm the first person outside of the cinema. A guy walks out, and he's rolling a cigarette. I go up to him and ask him for one. He hands me the bag of tobacco, and I reach inside and am feeling around to pull out a filter. And we're smoking and talking about the film. Other people are walking outside. A girl comes outside, and she knows him from before. And so she's with us. The three of us are all having a chat. We're talking about the movie that we'd just seen. And it's really nice. One of them says something about going to a bar. And I say, oh, great, sounds like a good idea. And they look at me for a second, and one of them says, oh, sorry, you don't understand. You're not coming with us. And then they laughed, and they walked to the bar, and I went home. So now we will listen to some romance music.
Yes. 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 Romance. It's like a romance. I mean, romances. Like romance languages. Del medievo. Secundarias, aprendidas, originales, mother tongues, pero aún así, secundarias. Y el inglés, tu inglés, sería como el latín clásico, vehicular, learned nada romance. Y mi lengua, epistemológicamente vulgar, sería muy romance. Así como para ti, para mí, only for us. It's not on the paper. Yes, sí. It's like a romance. Romance lips. Romance hands. Romance lungs. Romance hands. Romance tongues. Romance.
Toc toc.
Can I?
No, no, no. Toc toc.
Who's there?
What do you call an angry princess who's just awakened from a long sleep?
Slapping Beauty.
Hay dos lugares. Un primer lugar donde la excitación aparecerá en las conversaciones que rodearán la ayuda. El dime y démonos. Adrenalina para fluir entre palabras de trabajo. ¿En qué andas? Aún no he podido ir a verlo. Estoy enfrascadísima en el tema. También será donde uno se preocupe porque no está siendo tocado. Tocado de forma deseable, digo aquí, claro. Y un segundo lugar donde las conversaciones no serán tan estimulantes, serán más vacías de contenidos. Nos vemos a las 3, que es cuando hace más calor. Yo también. Pero llenas de otras cosas, donde perderse en el deseo en menos de una semana. Nunca tarda más que eso. El primer lugar para el trabajo, la ayuda. El segundo para el romance. Los escribanos sabían bien de esos dos lugares e hicieron que cohabitaran, contaminando las páginas con sus glosas, manchando las páginas que eran lugar para la palabra aprendida, el trabajo y el latín, con entre líneas que a veces aparecían escritas en las lenguas del corazón, la oralidad y el romance. Toc toc.
Can I?
No, no, no. Toc toc.
Who's there?
What do you call an angry princess who's just awakened from a long sleep?
Lonely bitch. Lonely bitch. Lonely bitch. Lon, 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 lon. Lon, 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 lonely. lonely, toca, 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 lonely, lonely, lonely beach. Cause now me implicates you, and myself is inserted in you. You're scared of terminologies, wait, that's not the right word. You're scared of contagion. Ella escupe, no hace falta tocar, dice, hablan. No soy agua de un vaso, dice. Convertirse no es lo mismo si lo dijera otra, como si fuera una broma. You're scared the one she talks to, cause now me implicates you, and myself is inserted in you. You're scared of terminologies, wait, that's not the right word. You're scared of contagion. the right word. You're scared of contagion. A todos se ha vuelto testigos, cómplices, causa y también solución. Tenía que haber dejado los adjetivos a los demás para no volverse contagiosa. The scared one she talks to, cause now me implicates you, and myself is inserted in you. You're scared of terminologies, wait, that's not the right word. You're scared of contagion. We're getting less and less people. That's more fun. When someone leaves the house, slamming the door from the blow, the door gets jammed, and when another tries to open it from within, she has to make such an effort that the body is pushed backwards by its own energy, by the blow. And by the time the door is open, the other has gone long ago, not knowing in which direction. It's better to close the door again, stay in the room, lie down on the couch, close the eyes, concentrate, relax the body. And through the white noise of the street, one can create a way to travel out, remaining lying down.
Upton Sinclair published Mental Radio in 1961. A book that collects several experiments in telepathy he performed with his wife, Mary Craig. In the book, he constantly clarifies that even though him and his wife were very united, they were two, they were one, what was happening was telepathy.
Like when one sleeps consecutive days with another person and creates an orchestra that keeps time. One breathes, the other also, trying to exhale when the other inhales, and vice versa, breathing the air that the other has left, recycling the air of the room between the two. But then a third one is added to the orchestra, and there is no longer the one that exhales and the other that inhales, but now the hybrid air that has passed through the two is forming as a third in the room.
The book tells the couple's experiments, but most of the stories take place in their home, or rather, in their living room, on her couch, where Mary Craig is always lying down. And one imagines...
Wood with strong smell, no wood but lack of ventilation, curtains round dust between the sunbeams, dark green sofa, velvetly crochet pillows.
Or...
concrete floor and constant laundry stand without clothes but synthetic stand, aluminium frame windows, LED, white system, white couch, polyester, scattered puffs.
The narrative is divided between two spaces, Upton's and Mary's. Two spaces connected through Mary's telepathy. One space is constant, the other varies. Between A and B, A and C, A and D, etc. They do experiments. 1. He draws on a paper in his studio behind closed doors. She is on the sofa, at home, lying down, with her eyes closed, guessing what her husband has drawn in the adjacent room. 2. At work, he asks his secretary to draw on a paper. She is on the sofa, at home, lying down, with her eyes closed, guessing what her husband's secretary has drawn on the paper. 3. He goes out to play tennis with his friends. She is on the sofa, at home, lying down, with her eyes closed, guessing where her husband has spent the afternoon and describing the landscape where he has been. 4. He receives a red Italian dictionary in his office. She is on the sofa, at home, lying down, with her eyes closed, dreaming of a red book. 5. He reads a book in his studio. She is on the sofa, at home, lying down, with her eyes closed, mentally writing the synopsis of the book. Always from the sofa, constant architecture, interior, quiet, lying down, alone, in privacy, quiet, lying down, with a migraine. She dies and he publishes the book. For Mary Craig, communication doesn't reach public spaces. Waste thoughts are kept indoors, and it's not the language that speaks, but the emissions that one releases. The body is the only architecture. The thorax is not the room for speech, with no need for bodies around, no saliva, no skin.
On the scar on your hand that pumps the blood so it can be affected. The scar on your hand that can be touched as it unifies your blood and your hands. The scar on your hand is the connection between touching and pumping blood. The scar on your hand is the junction to be affected for those things yet to be said. Cracking the skin, licking blood and infections, to create a new entrance, cracking without tongues. Cracking the skin, licking blood and infections, to create a new entrance, cracking without tongues. My brain emits some frequencies and they travel real fast. I'm an island, they go faster, broadcasting through the waves. And there, so I am, we are getting through your scar, deep into your skin. Your blood feels nasty, no offense, toxic too many weekends. And now we pass by the elbow, your shoulder, your long neck. Joe big lips that don't want to talk, and he said, shut up, you. Cracking the skin, licking blood and infections, to create a new entrance, cracking without tongues. But now I'm behind your eyes, and behind them I get to you. And on my way back I found so many things. The sky is shutting down because it gets burned out too. Rage has a color and it's red. People have red cars in the suburbs too. Rabbi blood stops the communication. You got a nasty blood man. The girl is a stalker, but there ain't any proof out there. But being so long lying on bed, my head is full of blood, and my mouth won't pronounce anything. My brain goes full on soliloquy, too emotionally sad. Slow down the emotion and go back to the blood bit. Cracking the skin, licking blood and infections, to create a new entrance, cracking without tongues. Cracking the skin, licking blood and infections, to create a new entrance, cracking without tongues. Assemblies don't find new locations, no more shared places to talk. And as my brain cannot produce enough frequencies, it's the blood that speaks because it can splash and lick, and when it's leaking too much and stains the objects I have around, then they start to speak too. Now contaminated, spreading the crisis disease. Without a fixed language nor pronunciation, because those are the ones talking now. So now it's not me. Now it's just Aleix in his computer.
I speak.
In Praise of Folly was written by Erasmus of Rotterdam in 1511, in first person, as if the fool was the one writing it, talking in feminine. I speak, he writes, she speaks, always with that obsession, gendering illness. Erasmus speaks from first and third person, from her but him, only one or two. Folly proceeds with her soliloquy, like a child disengaging the someone, disengaging the we, by using the sweet I. And by its act, she is individuated. But she, Folly, is in the mouth of Erasmus, of him posing as her, and Erasmus won't take any responsibility for what gets said. It's Folly who affirms everything.
So she's the fool, and the one being fooled. And in that play of fooling the subjects, and imposing an elusive but present speaker, Erasmus understands language as a tool to create a new space, a third element, as the hybrid air, as the space in between that has passed through the two lovers while they were sleeping, a third trans object that floats between the spaces, between the eyes.
Folly emerges with words. 1. Folly, from a solsticia's mouth, becomes very hers, very crazy. 2. Folly is wisdom of life, resignation, and benevolent judgment, and very hers. 3. Folly is created with her own speech and loves to have an audience. 4. Folly is becoming while she talks. She's always working so hard. 5. Folly writes her monologue while reciting it in front of a supposed public, in the common language, always in the common language. Erasmus began to write in Latin from a very early age, and renouncing his mother tongue, he was a stranger in his country. He was a stranger in his own language. He exiled.
Uprooting the land, the tongue, by staying on the sofa, a mobile and wheeled sofa, although it doesn't have to move geographically, by writing for a supposed public that is not even present, to be constituted when it appears and to fade out when it disappears. Pulsar follies are empty bags, bags like balls that swell with pressure. Speaker rib cage, trying to be filled up. Mobile, transportable bags. Not so stable, lickable racks, hard to condemn, elusive forever. Pulsar follies are empty bags, bags like balls that swell with pressure. Forget about the region. Something fit in a back ball, balls 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 a back ball. Hanging from the bell, region. Pulsar follies are empty bags, bags like balls that swell with pressure. Speaker rib cage, trying to be filled up. Mobile, transportable bags, not so stable, lickable racks, hard to condemn, elusive forever. Pulsar follies are empty bags, bags like balls that swell with pleasure. Forget about the region. Something fit in a back ball, balls 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 a back Pulling around, pulling you, pulling face, pulling face, pulling face, pulling face, pulling around, pulling down, keep that pulling face, pulling face, pulling you, pulling the face, pulling around, pulling face, pulling face, pulling red, ravage, rage, revenge, rabbing, rage, reckless, grace, red. Red, ravage, rage, revenge, rabbing, rage, reckless, grace, red. Red, ravage, rage, revenge, rabbing, rage, reckless, grace, red. Red, ravage, rage, revenge, rabbing. Pulse, falling, pulling, around, pulling, pulling, use, pulling, face, falling, face, falling, face, falling, around, ravage, rage, revenge, rabbing, rage, reckless, grace, red. Red, ravage, rage, revenge, rabbing, rage, reckless, grace, red. Red, ravage, rage, revenge, rabbing, rage, reckless, grace, red.
So this last part is dedicated to, well, not really dedicated, but somehow related to Neuralink, a company that has started to investigate consensual telepathy since last spring. Consensual telepathy is presented by the company as a new form of communication for the future, where the communication won't pass through intermediate processes, but will happen directly from brain to brain.
Without written nor oral language, without linguistics. And by that process,
The third elements, the air that passes through both, the language, the bonding, the tongues, the written, the tongues, the hybrid air, the two, the third, are now eliminated by the one-to-one. And the new subjects won't be constituted by common language, but will happen from one for one-to-one.
1. One is wandering around, suppressing the territory by equally being nowhere. 2. One is sending electromagnetic signs containing self-interpreted images. 3. One decides not to use language anymore and starts to send frequencies to itself that can only be interpreted as data. 4. One cannot really be sure of being that one because it has never tried to identify itself with others. 5. One is every day more sure about its condition of one I. Sell your company thoughts to the private sector tax-free. Become a stable 24/7 sofa. Language data transfers lossy for the Harry Potter fascism. Wizard hats help upgrade speech and typing, all of data rate. I don't need eye contact, I will work from everywhere and nowhere for the fastest generator of the global database. In my compression algorithm, with my tongue and my thumbs, there is still some roots yet to eliminate. Yet back for fascist business, quantifying my thoughts, mind controlling, pretty invasively. Silent speech communications, isolation processes, stay at home, don't find location. The color means no numbers, one in a room quantifies the best. In tongues, lying on the sofa, waiting for the shut up, it's said. Jumping from bed to bed, shut up, it's said. Belong nowhere, chip can be folded and piled. Therefore the brooded sonoka, nobody smiled. Mobile beds belong nowhere, chip can be folded and piled. There are things for fools to get sucked into and become mild. Mobile beds belong nowhere, chip can be folded and piled. To click and send frequencies with the terror of the exile.